Okay, good afternoon. Sorry it's a couple minutes after 12:30, but I want to welcome you to this week's community update and our first one for July of 2020. Today we have just a few items to address. We have a little bit lighter agenda as we head into the holiday weekend. I want to touch on several topics, which was really kind of the purpose of this update each week anyway, to kind of let you know the state of things happening in the district. First off, as you know, we are continuing to monitor the COVID-19 situation in our county, the DFW area, as well as the state, and we are, as a district, continuing to plan for the 2021 school year and what that's going to look like for students and staff. I know we mentioned last week that we are waiting for some final details from the Texas Education Agency, and that's mainly related to health protocols and guidance of how we can operate our schools under the current circumstances. And I think really because of things going on right now in the state, TEA continues to delay that information related to health standards. So I know the news has recently released information on medical advice. We're reviewing that as well, and that, as you know, is changing rapidly. It continues to be a fluid situation as we watch the COVID-19 numbers increase. So as we start planning for next school year, we have several options in place. We're going to begin surveying our parents in the next few days on which learning model you are comfortable with for your students. And so given the various COVID-19 scenarios and the possible health protocols, we have to have some information on really what's on top of mind right now for our parents, and really which direction as a parent you would be leaning toward with your child. And so we really, even though we have several scenarios, it really comes down to two things. And that is, are you going to send your child back to school in a face-to-face environment, which is, could mean 5 days a week in a traditional setting, just like we started this past year? Or would you prefer that your child be in a full-time, online, remote learning situation? And that's really the information that we're going to need to know so that we can continue our planning and dig deeper into the details about staffing, transportation, and a variety of things. Now, once we receive that health information from TEA and the guidance on how we can operate, if we are limited, then that may mean we look at those face-to-face situations, and we have to be creative in how we get students to and from school and how we operate our schools in a traditional format. So that might impact that a little bit. But in reality right now, we're just looking at those students that will be attending our schools face-to-face versus those that would be in an online environment based on how you feel right now as a parent, which will allow us to do some planning. So with all that being said, we do not have the information yet from TEA to make final decisions on it. You'll see the survey coming out, and we're hopeful that next week, hopefully Tuesday or Thursday, we'll get additional information from TEA so that we can begin some final plans, and we will share that with you as soon as we have it. A few other topics, just as you know, our Diversity Council continues to meet, and they're meeting in action teams. You received that information last week. Each of those action teams have been tasked with recommending changes to our student dress code. So we're looking at changes there. We're looking at our student handbooks and employee handbooks. We're looking at making some adjustments to our code of conduct. We're looking at what professional development we need to provide to staff as well as to our students related to equity, diversity, and inclusion. And then we're also looking at a proclamation or a resolution from the Diversity Council's position on how, as a district, we're going to take a stand against ending systemic discrimination. And so all of those items we're looking at putting systems in place for the 2021 school year. And so we're going to look at presenting these, or our members of our council will be presenting these items at the July 20th board meeting, either for information or for action that night. And so they're going to bring those items for action, but then they're going to also identify work that the Diversity Council needs to be pursuing throughout the school year. And just added to that, earlier this week, I did have the opportunity to meet with several of our high school students, both Midlothian and Heritage High Schools, and they shared their thoughts related to diversity and inclusion and their experiences at both high schools. So I just want to publicly appreciate these students and their thoughtful remarks, their contributions, and their honesty towards this ongoing conversation that we're having throughout the district. So their thoughts will be shared with our Diversity Council at the next meeting. And then these conversations that we're having with our students will guide our work as we move forward within the district. So we've got some great things going on there moving forward, and so you'll hear more about that over the next couple of weeks. Speaking of continuing our conversation about community involvement, our Bond 2016 program continues to be in full swing. I know we've focused on those other two topics so much, but we continue to have a lot going on within the district related to our bond projects. And so I do want to share with you just a moment. I'm going to share my screen here very quickly. So this first item is the mile, and everybody, I know most of you are aware of what we're doing with the mile, the Midlothian Innovative Learning Experience. And this facility is the previous Irvin Elementary, and this just gives you a view of the exterior on the south end of that building, which is the entrance to the mile. And as you recall, this is going to be our career and technology, not center, but we're going to offer career and technology courses there. It's being renovated as a modernized building to look like current and future workplace environment. So I'll just kind of show you a little bit of what we're doing. This is going to be more of a training area. It can be divided off, but this is the old Irvin gym, not the oldest Irvin gym, but the gym that was in Irvin Elementary that the students were using. So that has been turned into a larger meeting space, professional development area that can be utilized by the students there as well as throughout the district. This just shows you some of the classroom spaces and what we're doing to create more of a modernized look within those rooms. This is kind of the entrance area. Very much collaborative spaces will be throughout there, so the students and the partners that come in to work with our students can utilize that space. One of the classroom areas, just to see how that's been received a little bit of a refresh there. And then this will be the kitchen area that's being updated to host our culinary arts program. As far as Dieterich Middle School, it is nearing completion. We're excited about this middle school. Obviously, most people know that this is our third middle school. It's going to relieve a lot of the space issues we were having at Franks Hill and Walnut Grove. And Miss Rogers has done a great job, who will be the principal there, in getting this building open and getting it to the point that we are right now. And so I'll just show you a few pictures of this facility. This is the outside. If you haven't had a chance to drive by there, you can see there, that's the actual main entrance to the facility. One of the gymnasiums there at the middle school. Just flip through these very quickly. This is one of the hallways, obviously very wide hallways for the students to move throughout the facility. Some of our athletic facilities there. This will be obviously the track and the football stadium at Dieterich, very similar to what we have at Walnut Grove and at Franks Hill. Some of the landscaping area outside. Those are just a few quick pictures there just to give you an insight if you haven't had a chance to go by there. Also, Heritage High School is in phase 2 development right now. Actually, we are fixing to begin construction on that probably within the next few days or weeks. The construction team has been hired and they are on board, and so you'll start seeing things taking place over at Heritage. I just put these slides in there just to give you just as a reminder of what this is going to look like. So this is really the west end of the facility where this parking lot is, the student parking lot is. So that'll be the gymnasium on the left side of the screen, and then the auditorium on the right side of the screen with a courtyard area in between. This is just a different angle of that to see the courtyard. Some of the areas, these are some of the classrooms. You'll notice the visibility into the classrooms with some of our open spaces, movable walls, rideable surfaces. This will be the auditorium that will go in at Heritage High School. That will begin construction soon. So that's exciting for them to expand into this away from their the cafeteria multi-purpose area that they've had for their auditorium. And then, of course, the competition gym will be added on there on the west side as well. This is an example of what that's going to look like. So just want to remind you of some of our projects going on. We also have elementary number 8, which is in full swing with our design team. As you'll recall, we hired our architect, and so now we're working with the design team, with parents, community, staff, and students and teachers to design that elementary. And so we've been going through a variety of scenarios, and none of these have necessarily been, we haven't landed on anything from a voting standpoint or to propose to our board. This just gives you an idea of some of the work that's being done with that committee. I believe there's 30 to 40 people on that committee that are working through this, so we can begin updating on our board on what that's going to look like. And so just wanted to show you that even though our priority right now has been focused on a couple of big things, mainly what school is going to look like when we start, there's a lot going on behind the scenes as well in a variety of areas. And so that I wanted to update you on that. Let me stop sharing here. Get back over. Okay, and then I think as far as just a couple of other items that I wanted to talk about, you probably noticed that MISD launched a new website yesterday, has a fresh new look, and it is much easier, we hope, to navigate and to find topics that you're looking for. So I hope that you find that easy to maneuver. I want to give a big thanks to Jamie McNulty in our communications department in designing and launching the new website. Also, just an update on feeding our students. We continue to feed about 1,600 Midlothian ISD students each week. The total meals distributed since the COVID shutdown in March, and so this is since the time we started with our remote learning until today, we've served over 150,000 meals to our students. So we also received news this week from the Texas Department of Agriculture that we will be able to continue our summer feeding option until our classes resume in August. So we're excited about that. So as you can see, even though it's summer, we're fully operational, both in the short term and the long term, getting ready for next school year. And so we're preparing for the start as well as with our facility for the years to come. And so I know I've gone through that very quickly. I appreciate your attendance on here today. If you have questions or comments, please reach out to me or any of our staff. We'll be glad to assist you. But on behalf of the entire Midlothian ISD family, I want to wish you a happy July 4th holiday and just ask that you please stay safe. And I hope everyone enjoys the weekend. So thank you very much for joining us today.